and welcome to Purdue Engineering's For Me, to the incoming class of 2024. I'm so glad you decided to join us today to learn more about Purdue University and the College of Engineering. My name is Amy Glenn. I am the Associate Director of the Office of Future Engineers. I hold both my bachelor's and master's degrees from here at Purdue University. In between the two degrees, though, I left, and I quickly realized I missed being here. I missed working with faculty and staff, but what I missed the most was working with current students. So I came back to do what I do today. We have about 20 undergraduate engineering students that work in our office, and they are more than happy to share their experiences about what colleges they looked at, why they chose Purdue, why they chose their major, and what life is really like for a Purdue engineering student. So I do encourage you to reach out and learn more from our students. Other ways for you to get connected during this time is by going to our website. We've set up a virtual visit page, and from there you can learn more about specific things that might interest you. This page will be updated daily, so I do encourage you to check back often. One of the ways that you might be interested in getting involved is by attending one of the Engineering Live broadcasts. These are always a fun time. They are moderated by Ari Swartz, our Assistant Director here in the Office of Future Engineers, and he's usually joined by 2 or 3 students. And many times we have a certain theme and sometimes a special guest. So I do encourage you to check out all the Engineering Live broadcasts. If you're not able to join us live, these are usually replayable at a later date. So please go to our YouTube page and check those out. PSEF is a student organization which helps us with on-campus tours and leading information sessions. If you would like to get to know a specific engineering student in a specific major, I encourage you to check out their members' website. We will post a link to that website down below in the comments, so please make sure you check that out. Also, the Parents and Family Facebook group for the class of 2020 is up and running, so I do encourage parents and families to check that out as well. There is a lot of great resources, and you get to know some families from your area. So I hope you're ready to get started with Purdue's For Me 2020. Let's have some fun. Get on up, get on up, get on up. Get on up, get on up, get on up. Get on up, get on up, get on up. And to jump right in no matter what. If you knock me down, I'ma get on up. Top speed when you hit the ground. Just get on up when you get knocked down. And jump right in no matter what. If you knock me down, I'ma get on up. Top speed when you hit the ground. Just get on up when you get knocked down. Get on up. If you knock me down, I'ma get on up. Top speed when you hit the ground. Just get on up when you get knocked down. And jump right in no matter what. If you knock me down, I'ma get on up. Top speed when you hit the ground. Just get on up when you get knocked down. If you ever wanted to know what 5,000 Wayne train whistles sounded like, there you go. I do encourage you to join Boiler Gold Rush, as that's a great opportunity to learn more about Purdue and also to get your official Purdue Pete Big High Five. I do want to congratulate you on your admission into Purdue Engineering. This is no small feat. You have worked very hard to get here, and I really want to commend you on reaching this goal. Just so you know a little bit about those who have also been admitted to Purdue Engineering, we received over 18,000 applications for engineering alone. Of that, the Office of Admissions admitted just under 10,000 students, which means it was a 55% selectivity for this year. While there's nothing average about you, the students of your cohort, the average GPA is a 3.84, the average SAT is a 1441, the average ACT is a 32.6, and students are bringing in a full resume of accomplishments. So congratulations, you've done quite well during high school in order for you to be admitted as a Purdue engineer. I love this quote by our dean, Meng Chiang. It is, "Purdue Engineering is a place of pioneers. We are transforming and making a difference in our world." A little bit about the facts around Purdue Engineering. 82% of our students will graduate with some type of professional experience. 95% of our students know where they're going within 6 months after graduation. Over 70% of those are going to the workforce, while remaining percentages of those students are going to higher levels of education. Engineering is a great avenue if you're thinking about pre-med, pre-law, pre-vet, pre-dentistry, all those pre's. But our students are also going on for MBAs. So there's lots of options beyond engineering if you want to study or if you want to go on to your career. The average starting salary for our engineering students is about $68,000 a year. This is well above the national average for engineering students starting out. So we're very proud of how our students are doing. We do have 100,000 living alums worldwide, just engineering. So there's a lot of great engineering alums out there. If you'd like to get connected with one, let us know. We can do that for you. We are ranked number 6 as a public university, number 9 for our engineering program. We're consistently working harder to move to number 1. However, there's some other schools that are just kind of stubborn about that number 1, like MIT. Number 4, best value in education. We are also the lowest education cost for engineering of the top 10 engineering programs. We are a large program with just under 10,000 students in engineering alone. We like being large because of the breadth of opportunities that we can bring you, and we're going to talk more about those. And we have 17 different majors to choose from. So there are a lot of options which we're going to talk more about as well. There are 30 buildings on campus that are either fully dedicated or have dedicated space to engineering, and we're continuing to add on to those. Bowen Labs is a large-scale research facility where you can participate in ongoing research as a civil engineering student. And as you see here in this image, this is a 3-story structure that's attached to shake walls. Those shake walls will replicate things like hurricane force winds and earthquakes to see how the materials used and the structure itself will withstand the test of time. In the center of this picture, you'll notice a large full semi, which gives you the chance to see this really is a large facility. Lots of really cool things going on in there. The Bechtel Innovation Design Center was designed just for students. We know that students are working on a lot of projects, whether it's for classes or whether it's for a student organization, and these projects don't always fit in your residence hall room, and you don't have mom or dad's garage close by to work on it in. So the Bechtel Innovation Design Center was designed with you in mind. They have a variety of 3D printers, and you and your team can come in and work on your projects. Plus, it's fully staffed, so they can help you with equipment such as CNC machines and help on your projects if you need a little encouragement. The Ag and Biological Engineering building is getting a facelift and getting totally renovated. It will open up this August, so if you're going to study in ag or biological engineering, you're going to have a brand new facility, which is really kind of cool. Also, the STEM Teaching Labs is going up right next to Hovde Hall and next to the Elliott Hall of Music. So that will open up this fall as well. So you'll be able to have classes and labs in a brand new STEM teaching facility. Dudley Hall is a brand new building that will open up in August of 2022. This will house our Student Success Corridor with things such as the Office of Future Engineers, the Women in Engineering program, the Minority Engineering program, honors, as well as global engineering and student successes. In engineering, we have 50 states and over 120 countries at Purdue. So there's a lot of students coming from a lot of different places. As you'll notice here, 31% of our students are from in-state. Remaining percentage of students are from out-of-state and international. 26% of our students are women. We have the largest student chapter, the Society of Women Engineers, and we are the oldest and largest chapter as well. We also have the first Women in Engineering program in the U.S., and our Minority Engineering program is one of the first as well too. Just to give you an idea of where students are coming from, this was our 2019 enrollment by state. So you'll notice that students are coming from all over the U.S. I'd like you to take a moment and think about, what does a Purdue engineer, a successful one, look like? These are some of the things we came up with. A successful Purdue engineer is willing to learn. They are creative, inquisitive, and innovative. They welcome diverse perspectives and their team players. They go the distance and then some. They're involved, they're willing to help, they're kind and respectful. They're grounded and resilient, and they're adaptable, and they also have a sense of humor. There's not always a clear-cut answer when it comes to engineering. So being able to have all these qualities is very important for our students. So we always encourage students to think beyond just a specific major. Really, it's what challenges do you want to solve in the world? And what major interests you the most and will prepare you the best to go into that field? Like I said, there are 17 different majors of engineering at Purdue. Each of those majors have areas that you can specialize in or focus in. So there are about 80 different flavors when it comes to Purdue Engineering. For this reason, the engineering classes are hands-on. They are less lecture and more impact. And when we say impact, we don't mean impacted, where you can't get the classes you need to graduate, but more impact, meaning working in teams with other students, which is really what real life is all about. So we want everyone to start in first year engineering. This gives you that time to explore, to choose, and succeed in the major that you're interested in. Again, focusing not on a specific major, but focusing on where do you want to succeed in the world. So from first year engineering, you will transition to your major in your professional school. From there, it's graduation, and then from there, it's on to career or graduate school. For first year engineering, our incoming students have a variety of options. You can do the original first year engineering, which is Engineering 131 and 132, which is a 2-semester sequence course. Under that, if you choose to do a learning community, you could do the BAMS, Design Purdue IRL, Engineering in the World of Data, Global Engineering, or Ideas. However, other alternate options for first year engineering, which is a modified version of Engineering 131 and 132, those learning communities consist of the Goss Scholars, EPICS, and the vertically integrated programs. Now, one that is not listed here is the Women in Engineering program. You can be a part of the Women in Engineering program and any one of these learning communities as well. It is important to remember, though, you must accept your admission to Purdue and have your completed learning community application submitted by April 15th, and that is 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you're on the West Coast, please make sure you don't miss that deadline. Learning communities are a great way to join with other students who have like interests as you. So I do encourage you to check those out and consider them. But if you choose not to do a learning community, that's fine too. You'll get a lot of great team-based experiences through Engineering 131 and 132. And there's engineering students in all of the residence halls, so you'll not miss out on anything. First year engineering, you're going to take some core classes like engineering, calculus, science, communications, and so forth. You're going to focus on career design, teamwork, problem solving, and critical analysis. It's important to note that first year engineering is not a cookie cutter program. It is based on your preparation coming in. So if you've taken things like AP classes, dual credit, IB classes, those will adjust what you take in your first year. During STAR, which is the time that you meet with your advisor and register for your first fall classes, is when you'll talk to the advisor and tell them about the classes you're bringing in. Sometimes it's better to retake a course on campus, and sometimes it's better to take that credit and move forward. It's really up to every individual, and every student I talk to gives me a different answer. So I encourage you to talk to a variety of students. There is one great resource out there that I would also encourage you to check out. If you go to purdue.edu/math, you can look up past semester exams for math. So if you're thinking about taking that credit for Calc 1 and moving on to Calc 2 when you get to Purdue, that's a really great option, but check out the math test first. Know if you understand all the information on there, it's probably best to move forward. However, if you struggle at all with the information and the concepts, maybe it's better to retake the course. So I just always encourage all students to check that out. At the end of the first year, our students around March or April will make their decision of which majors they want to go into. It's very simple. You go onto an online website, click on a drop-down box, and choose your top 2 choices. As you can see, over 90% of our students transition to their first choice. This is based on your GPA, a 3.2 GPA and Engineering Admissions Index. I can't use the word guaranteed, but it should almost get you into your first choice option. But I do encourage you to make sure you're using all your resources available to you. 90% of students will stay in engineering after their first year. So students are finding engineering to be the right fit. For those students that choose not to stay in engineering after their first year, they're also going on to other areas in campus and finding those to be their better fit. A lot of times our students will come in thinking they're not sure between engineering and polytechnic or engineering and the pure sciences. So if you come in and you're thinking it's engineering, it's a great place to start. And then if you find somewhere else is a better fit, that's okay too. We want you to find what's going to lead you to this success and where you want to be in your career. To give you an idea, this is where our engineering majors, sophomores through seniors, are at. You'll notice that electrical and computer engineering is the most popular major by far. However, mechanical engineering is very close behind them. I have seen these numbers change in the years that I've been in my position. So they adjust based on interest for students and a lot of times what's happening in the world. So again, it's more about helping you figure out which is the right fit for you and your goals versus keeping you out of where you want to be. Often students will come in thinking they want to be a biomedical engineer, but then they figure out, you know what, biological engineering could be a better fit for me too. The one area that we do not typically see students change their mind is aero and astronautical engineering. Those are typically the students that were launching toys out of their cribs when they were babies. However, on average, 50% of students will change their major at least once. That's why first year engineering is really geared towards helping you figure out which is the right fit for you. To help you maintain a solid GPA and do well academically, there's a lot of support available. Academic advisors, The Student Success Center offers study rooms, tutorial sessions, and so forth. The Disability Resource Center helps students that have a short-term to long-term disability or have learning disabilities. When I say a short-term disability, if you're riding a skateboard across campus, you hit a rock and you break your arm, you might need help with note-taking or typing, so they can help provide that. However, we do have students that are hearing impaired and visually impaired, and so we have opportunities and resources to help those students as well. Faculty and TAs all hold office hours where they are literally sitting in their offices just waiting for you to come talk to them. So please get to know your faculty and your TAs. They're a great source of all sorts of things. So whether you're looking for a letter of recommendation, if you're looking for research opportunities, or just help on your class, please get to know them. The Minority Engineering program offers a great tutorial center in Armstrong Hall where students of all ethnicities get together and study. They also have tutoring available, and so I do encourage you to check them out. It's open to all students. The Women in Engineering program sponsors tutoring Sunday through Thursday night in Earhart, I believe it is, one of our residence halls. My understanding is more guys go to those tutoring sessions than girls do. Something to do about free milk and cookies is what I've heard. But the biggest resource at Purdue is peers. So if you're trying to figure out which college is the best fit for you, I want you to think about, how do you want to learn? Are you a collaborative person and you want to work in teams and help each other succeed? Are you more competitive and like, good luck on your A because I'm working on my own? Purdue is much more collaborative. Homework's designed to work in groups. We encourage you to study for exams in groups. And I have been told that there is maybe 1 or 2 exams in first-year engineering that's collaborative as well. So peers are a huge resource, and that's what life is really like. So I do encourage you to think about all those things as you're looking at schools. Now parents, we haven't forgotten about you. We have some resources for you as well. The Purdue County Moms is like an extension of your own family right here in our backyard. So I encourage you to check out their Facebook group. Also check out the Purdue Parent and Families Connection. They are officially an office at Purdue, and they are here to help you with any resources or questions that you have as a family. So we call the Boilermaker family, and it really is. So you're not just, parents and families, you're not just sending your students to school and saying good luck. We actually have a whole team available here to help your students succeed. We find that grit turns goals into reality. And when we talk about grit, what we're talking about is global experiences. Students can go for a week, a semester, or a year, and you can still graduate in 4 years. But we encourage you to get that global experience. You can work overseas, you can do research overseas, as well as study overseas. There are a lot of resources available. There are some scholarships available, and typically the cost of your education is going to be similar to the paying up right here on Purdue and sometimes in state. So I do encourage you to check those out. Research opportunities. There are a ton of research opportunities here at Purdue for you as an undergraduate student, and you can start these as early as your first semester and your first year. So if you check out the Office of Undergraduate Research, OUR, you can learn more about all the research projects that our students are working on. Anywhere from traumatic brain injury research, nanoscale research, cancer research. So whatever interests you, there's lots of those things happening. Internships are great ways to help pay for college as well as get some valuable work experience. Kendrick, that you see here, he worked on the Model 3 for Tesla. He extended his internship in order to see the launch of this car go to market. Had a great experience. So we do encourage you to check out internships and co-ops. We're going to go more into these in just a little bit. Team projects and innovation. So whether it's student organizations or it's teams within your classes, there's lots of great opportunities. Purdue feels that you should be able to keep the intellectual property rights of anything that you create as a student, as long as you're not being paid by Purdue or a company to create it. Mitch Daniels, our president, decided that yes, you do get to keep your intellectual property rights, and we are one of the few universities that allows you to do that. As such, we also have an entire department dedicated to helping you take that idea and bring it to market and start your own company. We have filed for a ton of patents on behalf of our students and faculty, so I do encourage you to check that out. The team that you see here created Froyo Express. This is a frozen yogurt kiosk that could go into an airport or a mall. In fact, we have one in 3rd Street Market here on campus. So I do encourage you to check that out. You'll see this team of 6 won $10,000 for their design and competition. Not a whole lot of money, but 10 grand split 6 ways, that's not a little bit bad money. Probably paid for some extra pizza or some books. Often we hear, who hires Purdue engineers? Well, these are just some of the companies, and I hope you recognize at least one logo. These companies hire students for co-ops, internships, and full-time jobs, and there's plenty more. The question really is, who doesn't hire from Purdue? So anyway, I encourage you to check this out. Also, internships and co-ops, great ways to help pay for college, but also get that valuable work experience. Internships are typically during the summer, and students prefer those over co-ops because they can try a variety of industries. So if you're not sure where you want to apply that chemical engineering degree, internships are those great options to check it out. Co-ops are fantastic for the students that know what industry they want to work in and want to get a deep experience within that. So co-ops are typically start after your first year, and then you become a rotational employee. So every other semester, you will be out working for your co-op company. Since you are out every other semester, it does take 5 years to graduate, but you're still only paying for 4 years of college. So it is important to note that time to graduation varies on every student based on those sorts of things, such as co-ops versus internships. But it's a great practical way to, again, pay for college, but also get work experience. Our internships and co-ops, our students don't work for free. That's called volunteering, which is really important as well. However, our students are well paid. The average salary for our students is somewhere between $20 and $30 an hour. This will vary based on where a student is working, what their major is, as well as where they're at in their major, whether they're coming out of their freshman year or they're going into their senior year. But I do encourage all students to check both of those things out. And when you come to campus, please be sure to bring a suit with you and your resume. We have an entire department called the Center for Career Opportunities, which is dedicated to helping you prepare for those interviews as well as fine-tune your resume. We want all students to go to those career fairs and start talking to companies as soon as you get to campus. The first one is called Industrial Roundtable. This is our largest student-run job fair. We have typically over 400 companies that come to campus to talk to our students about co-ops, internships, and full-time jobs. So check that out. That usually happens in September. Last year we had over 1,700 unique employer visits, and when I say unique employer visits, GE will visit multiple times because they have multiple divisions. However, they're only counted once, so it is important to understand. When you're looking at other colleges and universities, you want to find out how many companies are coming to campus versus how many are just having you apply online. We hold more on-campus interviews for internships, co-ops, and full-time jobs than any other college or university. So companies are coming to campus and they are hiring our students. Typically, it's our alums that come to interview our students as well. To give you an idea of where our college graduates for engineering for 2018, so this is a very small population, but it gives you kind of an idea of where our students go. So yes, after graduation, students are staying here in Indiana, but they are going across the U.S. as well. 68% of our students will graduate debt-free, and we like that number. And the way students are paying for college, again, co-ops and internships. Students are also getting paid research opportunities on campus, and students are also working on campus. So whether it's in offices like ours, ITAP, our computer center has students that work there, whether it's for convocations or whether it's for dining residence halls, there's a lot of student employment opportunities. Again, great ways to work on campus, get a little extra money, and help pay for your college. We also want you to do something fun. Engineering should not just be all academics. You want to have fun too. That work-life balance is really important, and we want to make sure you do that.
Electric cars have a very instant acceleration, of course. It's a little different, and that makes a little noise. You get around pretty quickly that way. This is all student-built equipment, student-run teams. So impressive, thrilled, and inspired by Purdue Engineering in all its forms. This is just a great example among many. It just shows you the quality of the kids we have at Purdue.
So if go-karts are not your thing, that's fine. There are still lots of other opportunities to get involved across campus. We have about 1,000 student organizations, so surely you're going to find something that interests you. You can join the marching band, the outing club. There are free movies on campus. You can join a dance troupe or go watch one. And again, Big Ten sports, lots of things happening. It is always an exciting time at Purdue. Every year we have a lot of big name speakers, musical groups, and Broadway productions. Elliott Hall of Music, where our Broadway productions shows happen, is larger than Radio City Music Hall. So a little fun fact about Purdue. Blue Man Group was here for the first time in a few years, and we were so glad to have them back. So tickets for students are anywhere from free, which we do like that number, to about $20 or $30. If you work for Purdue Convocations, you can take tickets at the door and then watch the shows for free. So that's a great opportunity as a student staff member as well. So here are the top 10 reasons that we love Purdue, and we hope you do too. Just a quick recap of our presentation today. Starting with number 10, we have a lot of red brick. So if you like red brick, it might be a good place. But we also are preserving history and building new traditions. On the left, you'll notice the clock. This was from our original clock tower that went into Heavlin Hall. 3 days after the building was dedicated, it burned to the ground, unfortunately. However, that clock went into storage, and some faculty found it. They pulled it out, refurbished it. It is a hand-wound clock. And next time you're on campus, I encourage you to go into the Gatewood edition of Mechanical Engineering and check it out. It's on the second floor. But now we have the new bell tower, which was dedicated to build one brick higher. So we don't just rest on what we had before and rebuild. We try to go that extra step. And that's one of the reasons why companies like to hire Purdue engineers, is that we always go one brick higher. So whether it's traditions like Washington crossing the Delaware, this authorized copy that we have on loan to us in our Wilmeth Active Learning Center, or it's the unfinished P, where it symbolizes that your dreams are still unfinished, and we are here to help you uncover those and help you reach those. This is located outside the Stewart Center. At Purdue, we do experience all 4 seasons. As you'll notice here, Sunday through Saturday, and sometimes this is a very real week. In fact, just yesterday, it was 75 degrees. I was out on the patio doing some work on the computer. It was so nice to be out there. But then today, it's cloudy and cold and rainy. So we do have all 4 seasons at Purdue. And we have them sometimes in the same day. So we have experienced days that start out very cold, kind of wintry, and then they turn out very warm or rainy. So that's one of the things about Purdue that we love. Number 8, collaborative environment. Again, we've talked about that. We believe that life is worth living in teams, that you don't go through life alone. Industry partners. This is a picture of Industrial Roundtable, just a small sliver of the picture. We want you to experience the world. So whether that's working with students from all around the world here on campus or going on a global experience. We believe that professional skills really do matter. If we merely educate you, we have failed. Our goal is to help prepare you for those careers that you're going on to. So I do encourage you to look at those things and those opportunities at every college that you're looking at. Number 4, learn by doing. We don't want you to wait to innovate. We want you to start that as early as your first semester. EPICS is a great place to start that, but there's lots of other opportunities through student organizations as well as research. Number 3, breadth of opportunities. Again, 17 different majors, 80 different flavors. There is so much to do at Purdue. One of the things we love is it's easy to take a large university like Purdue and make it feel small, but it's really hard to take a small college and make it large and give you that breadth of opportunities. So we do encourage you to check that out. Number 2, of course, our first-year engineering program. We are the first in the U.S. to do it at such a large scale and to do it so successfully. So first-year engineering is really geared towards you as the student and helping you learn and succeed and grow. And number 1, we really are nice and friendly. So this is our team for the Office of Future Engineers. Of course, myself, Ari Swartz, David Boker, and our office manager, Lindsay Elias, who really kind of keeps us all together and moving forward. I hope you have found this information helpful. I'm going to turn it over to David Boker and his panel to take your questions. So please feel free to ask any questions that you have. If you have questions that come up after today, contact our office, future-engineers@purdue.edu.
All right. Thanks so much, Amy. Thank you for your presentation. Good to see everybody. Well, at least our panelists. We miss having students. Thanks so much, Amy. Around. Thank you for your Thank you, everybody, for joining. Good to see everybody. We so appreciate you getting online with us. We wish we could all be together on campus, but hopefully we're going to have an opportunity to do that soon. So my name is David Boker. I'm the director of the Office of Future Engineers. I have 2 Purdue degrees. I claim that I'm from a Lafayette sort of native, even though I was born in Detroit, and have had great experiences at Purdue. And I'm going to be leading the panel today. I'm going to have the rest of our panelists kind of go ahead and introduce themselves, tell them about yourself, and then we'll get to your questions. So Musin, do you want to go ahead and start? We'll kind of go in the order.
Sure. So can you hear me?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay. My name is Muhsin Menekşe. I'm an assistant professor in the School of Engineering Education at Purdue University. I joined Purdue in 2015, and before Purdue, I was a research scientist at University of Pittsburgh, and I got my PhD at Arizona State University. So basically, I'm teaching the first-year engineering courses. That's the most relevant, I think, for this panel. I have been teaching since 2015, and I look forward to working with our new cohort by fall semester again.
Thank you, Nate. Nate? Yeah, Nate,
Yes, can you hear me? Can you hear me, David?
Yep, I can.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Nate Thomas, and I'm one of the senior academic advisors for the first-year engineering program.
Great. Let's switch to the students. Peggy?
Hi, I'm Peggy Hutchinson. I'm from Fairfield, Connecticut. I'm currently a freshman, but I'll be in first year engineering. I'll be going into material science engineering next year. Yeah.
What other things are you involved in on campus?
I've done some club sports on campus, and I'm part of PSF, who gives tours to potential students and a lot of other outreach.
Great, thanks. Jacob?
Hey guys, my name is Jacob Lamazov. I'm a senior in biomedical engineering. I've had a lot of industry experience. I've done a co-op and internship in healthcare related fields. On campus, I'm also involved in PSF, which is in charge of tours for prospective students. And then I'm also going to be doing my non-thesis based master's.
All right, thank you. So we've got a freshman and a senior for you, so you can kind of see the progression and the different things that go on, as well as faculty and staff. So we're going to go ahead. We've got folks kind of putting together all the hot topics, and we're going to go ahead and ask questions and start with that. We plan to go until maybe 3. We may be able to go a little bit longer than that, but do know that we have our virtual drop-ins that start from 3 to 5 as well. So if you decide you want to get another perspective and hear from more of our students today, you can also jump in from 3 to 5. Just go to our website, virtual visits, and you can find the link to that pretty easily. So we're going to jump right in, and let's start with, let's see. Let's talk a little bit about learning communities. We're getting a lot of questions about that. One of the questions is about the EPICS learning community. In order to do EPICS as a freshman, you do need to be in the EPICS learning community, but you can do EPICS sophomore through senior year without doing that. So that's a quick answer there. Peggy, have you been in a learning community?
Yes, I'm actually, well, not anymore because we're not on campus, but I was.
You're still there.
Technically. I was in the global learning community, so we focused a lot on being able to engineer global engineering learning community, and there was a lot of focus on how to be an engineer in a constantly globalizing society. So I took 2 1-credit-hour courses, one first semester, one second semester, and I got to live on a floor with a lot of international people. My roommate was actually from Thailand, which is really cool. So kind of being able to kind of learn more about different cultures is really neat, and also being able to know that you're living with other engineers nearby. So I had some questions on an engineering assignment at like 2 a.m. one time, and there's another girl working on my floor at the exact same thing. We were able to just work together, which is a really nice benefit of being in a learning community as well.
And what would you say it is? I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot, but someone else can, because they're asking, is it a class? What is a learning community?
Different learning communities will have different criteria within them. For EPICS, you're doing a different first year engineering course, so it's going to be combined into, instead of having 2 semesters of first year engineering, you're going to have 1, and then you're going to be doing some work on an EPICS project as well. So that's pretty neat. If you're in other learning communities like global engineering, it's a little less of an immersion in it. So you will still have a global engineering class, and all my people in my learning community were in my first engineering courses. So you did get to know them, plus the additional course that we had to take as well. So we got to see a lot of industry speakers come in and talk about their global engineering experiences and get to do some projects as well.
Great. So usually you're teamed up in certain classes, as well as you have outside activities that you're involved in if you're doing a learning community. So it's not usually just one class. It's usually a living and learning situation.
So all of us are in the same residence hall, and I think all the girls are on the same floor, and the guys had to be split into two floors because there were too many of them. But we're all very close together, and I know almost everyone by name, so that's really neat.
Okay, great, thanks. So that hopefully for folks out there gives you a little bit more idea of what a learning community is. There are, I think, somewhere between 12 and 14 learning communities that engineers have an opportunity to choose. The priority deadline is April 15th. I saw a bunch of questions about, yes, you do have to put your admissions deposit in order to sign up for the learning community. But please know, if space remains in the learning community, you can continue and apply for that beyond the April 15th deadline. So you can do that in May, even June if you need to. So I'm going to move on to another question. Has to do with transitioning to your major of choice. Nate, would you want to talk a little bit about what the process is? We start with that as far as moving from first year engineering into your professional school.
Sure. And once again, I want to confirm that you can hear me.
Yep. Sound great.
All right. So students must complete our required courses on the FYE plan of study. We have 9 required courses, and students and families can look at those on our FYE homepage. And during the semester that they are finishing up all FYE coursework, they will be asked to complete a survey for the transition to major. And it's really just 2 questions. We ask them what their first choice of engineering majors is and what's their second choice. And that information is put on a spreadsheet so that we have a paper trail and know where our students might want to go. When the semester's over and final grades are posted, the engineering majors will have their list of students from that survey, and then that's when they start making their decisions on who they will accept and who they will deny. Students must have at least a 2.0 overall GPA and a 2.0 FYE GPA in order to be eligible to transition.
For last year, 90% of the students got their first choice. So the goal is to get you where you want to be.
Yes, that's correct. The numbers are fairly high.
Yep. We do have, there are multiple pieces to it. So it's not just a GPA or what we call engineering admissions index, but which is your grades in the first year required courses. But if you have C's or better, GPA of 3.2 GPA, engineering index of 3.2, and then there's some other caveats you got to complete in 2 semesters. From fall spring, there is a guarantee at a certain level. We had 60% of our students who made the guarantee, but as you can hear, 90% overall got their first choice. So know that our goal is to get you where you want to be as best as possible. Jacob, did you know biomedical coming in?
Like that I wanted to do it?
Yeah, did the first year help with that? How did that work for you?
I did. I would say from just the people that I've talked to, biomedical is kind of the unique one where a lot of people come in knowing they want to do that, but that's not usually the case in other majors. I know overall it's 50% of people change their mind by the time they apply. But yeah, in my case, I did.
Yeah. So, and the thing with like biomed, there's multiple ways you could do some biomedical work, right? To go into industry, you could look at biological engineering, you could look at mechanical, you could look at electrical. So you learn about different opportunities within Purdue, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And just because you're in one major, I mean, that usually spans a lot of different disciplines. So like you're saying in biomedical, within biomedical, you take a lot of electrical and mechanical engineering classes. And then on the other side, if you're in electrical and mechanical, you can take electives that kind of push you towards the biological route.
Great. And Moosin, can you talk a little bit about what happens in the first year courses to kind of help students find their niche. There was a question about transition as after freshman year, but also changing majors after freshman year. But can you talk about what happens in the freshman year to kind of help with that?
Sure. So in the first year, historically, we have all the schools visiting our classes and basically giving a short presentation about their schools and about their programs, courses, requirements, uh, prospects, opportunities like internship opportunities or all the other things. But we made recently them to an online version. So each school have now a presentation, talking about themselves and everything similar to when they were doing the class visits and introducing themselves basically. And also, almost all schools have open hours, kind of, if any student have any questions about that specific school, they can talk to these people and learn more about either from students or from more professionals or academic advisors. Academic advisors are the first choice. And other than that, in the first year courses, they're also seeing examples when they are learning about modeling or design or teamwork. So they are working on some case studies, for example, in an electrical engineering case or a biomedical case. So they are seeing what's actually in a small version of what's expected from these students in their respective professions. So basically, that's typically what happens in the first year courses.
Great. So our hope is that either students are reaffirmed by what they were really excited about and go out off even better prepared to be an engineer, no matter what major it is, or to find something that maybe they didn't know as much about and find that niche for them. It is possible to switch after your sophomore year. We have a process that's change of major. We call it CODO, but it really depends on how your grades are doing and how much space there is in the program. Some programs are a little more, have less space, and so switching into them isn't as seamless as it could be switching into other programs. So, but we do see some movement after the sophomore year, but not a ton. So as long as there's space, we typically try and get students into different areas. Biomedical is a smaller program, so we don't see a lot of, there's usually not opportunities. It's more difficult to switch in, for example.
One thing I can add, sorry, David, not
Yeah.
too much time. So what we see is the program is unique at Purdue because most of the students, almost all students especially, spent their first year in similar coursework. So they have the whole year decide actually to measure. So surveys data show actually before they come to Purdue, they have a measure in their mind, and when they go to their school, all those students actually change. What they are thinking at the beginning of the semester and where they end up, like by learning from other students, ambassadors, academic advisors, and the programs. We see a lot of students decide to go a different measure. But the good thing is because they all spent the first year, the common year together, they're not losing any semester or any time. So when they go to second year, so in other schools, if you're starting from the beginning in a mechanical engineering, and now you want to do chemical engineering, there are a lot of different courses that you need to take. But that's not the case at Purdue with the model that we have in the first year.
I actually I came in thinking I was going to be an electrical engineer. I didn't even know what material science engineering was. I came in, was exploring a lot of different types of engineering because I kind of figured out the more I learned about electrical, the more I learned it wasn't quite for me. Very interesting, but wasn't quite for me. So I actually thought I was going to be a construction engineering management for a while. And then I found material science and realized that was the right place. But it took me until mid-January when I finally had to declare something before I was 100% sure what I was going to go into. And I'm very confident with it now. And I'm glad that I was able to explore because otherwise I probably would have been stuck in something that I wasn't sure about.
And you'll probably be spending some time near us in Armstrong, at least for a while,
Yeah.
right? Which will be exciting. We'll get to see you.
Yay.
Yay. Uh, so yeah, the cool thing is you can change your mind every day, really, at freshman year up through going into March, and then transitioning over. I'm going to knock off a couple of quick questions, and then I want to kind of get to maybe Jacob, have you talk about co-op. But first, there was a question about double majoring, and if someone wants to jump in on double majoring, 4-year, 4+1 master's degrees. We do have opportunities within some of the different disciplines. I think biomedical is one, biological, ag and bio, I think mechanical, industrial chemie. So not every program has a 4+1, but some do. You can take up to 9 credit hours of graduate level coursework. As a undergrad, that will typically count towards your undergraduate degree. So that's a great way if you're thinking about trying to do that. We also have opportunities to do an MBA. So chemical, mechanical, and industrial. You can do a 4+1 with Krannert School of Management and actually get your master's in business. So there are a variety of those programs available at Purdue. As far as how easy they are getting in, I think you do have a little bit of an advantage because you're going to know the faculty well, hopefully, that you're applying for. And of course, GPA, they're going to look at that, GMAT or GRE, possibly. But the fact that you're a known quantity, and if you have I think that helps as far as admissions, and we do have students do that. Double majoring, do you guys see that very often? I see head shaking. Does someone want to comment on that?
I think it depends on what you want to do double major wise. Like I know we now have a program where you can major with something in the liberal arts school, and that would definitely be more doable. But in terms of 2 engineering degrees, I don't see that very often. And I also don't think there's a need for it because you get a lot of multidisciplinary work just being in one discipline.
Yeah, you're going to take technical electives within the different minors are quite common, and you guys, if you want to, at some point we can talk about that too. It's certainly possible to get a minor within engineering or outside within different areas, but typically maybe doing the undergrad masters, that might add more value than trying to take on and be more time effective than trying to do 2 majors. So while we got you, well, at least I've got you in the big screen, Jacob. Let's do, the question is it easy to get internships and co-ops? And I know you're coming from a biomed perspective, but can you talk in general about that process and your experience, please?
Yeah, so from what I've seen, a lot of people who want a co-op and internship tend to get one. But it also depends on who you're talking to and the kind of role that you want. Obviously, if you're coming from mechanical engineering or industrial engineering, you are way more broadly applicable to all industries. So you have more opportunities there. If you're coming from somewhere like chemical engineering or aeronautical, it might be a little more difficult, but Purdue definitely makes it possible so that 24/7, 365, you can apply to companies, they'll come to you, and they'll constantly be recruiting. I know you guys saw in that presentation, one big career fair we have is Industrial Roundtable, which is in the fall. And we have about 400 companies coming to recruit students. And that's a really great way that a lot of people get those opportunities. And the turnaround time is also incredible. I mean, you could be talking to a recruiter one day, have an interview on site the next day, and have an offer, in a couple of weeks. So it's definitely doable. A lot of people do it, and it tends to snowball in the sense that if you get an co-op, you're almost guaranteed to get an internship after that because you already have that industry experience. And we've actually seen with a lot of students that it's easier to get co-ops than internships first because companies want to invest in you, hold on to you for a while, and grow you.
And that's about, I think, 10% of our students who are doing a co-op experience, and where you stay with the same company, but you flip-flop each semester. Both are paid really well. This is a great way to help with great experience, but also the affordability of college. So know that Purdue, we've got historically companies come to Purdue And so you've got that access, and then it's kind of up to you. And we have all sorts of ways to help prepare you for that, and experiences that you can have that recruiters love.
And David, if I could touch one more thing on that, is
Yeah.
one thing that people don't realize, and you hear it a lot, is connections. And that really goes a long way with Purdue, especially in industry. There's hundreds of thousands of Purdue alumni in just about every company you could think of and in high up roles. And a lot of times I've seen people raise interest or get positions because they just reached out to someone on LinkedIn or shot them an email and said, hey, I see you're a fellow Boilermaker. Can you help me out? And a lot of times that works too. So that's also, you know, a great way of getting those internships and co-ops.
Awesome. So I see that we're already at 3:00. Can you believe that, guys? I mean, that's like 20 minutes, 40 minutes, whatever. It's flown by. So what I'm going to do, I know some of you may be able to stay a little longer, some may not. We also have our drop-ins going on, but I'd like each of you to talk a little bit about why Purdue. For you, why you chose Purdue, or why you, whether it's from a staff or faculty position, what makes this place special. And Jacob, why don't we go ahead and start with you, and then we'll kind of work our way through.
So I was between, so I'm from Illinois, so I was between an in-state school and then Purdue for engineering. And I was in a somewhat unique situation where I needed to pay my way through college. And it was between, you know, out of state at Purdue for engineering is cheap, and then in-state was a lot cheaper. And the biggest thing for me was coming on campus. And unfortunately, you guys don't have that experience, but this kind of serves that purpose of talking to people who have been there. And what really rubbed off on me was the impression I got from students. They actually really enjoyed being there. And it was more than just getting a good degree. You know, they had passion for the school. They wanted to be there. They enjoyed the athletics and the atmosphere. And when I toured other universities, it's just not the same impression I got. And then on top of that was the collaborative atmosphere. Some of the other top universities that I visited were kind of like pressure cookers, and everyone was competing with each other to get ahead. And that's not something you find at Purdue. You really get that kind of Midwestern mentality of everyone's trying to help each other. We're all in the same boat, and we're all trying to get to the same place, which makes the 4 years here a lot more enjoyable. So those were kind of the two reasons that I chose Purdue.
Awesome. Thank you. And I think that collaboration is such a key part. Again, none of us have been to every other campus, but I'm always amazed at how collaborative Purdue's campus is. And you work with your peers, you get support from faculty. There's just a lot of, I've known, I don't know if Moosin, you've done this, but I was surprised. I used to say in presentations, you do everything in teams except for exams. And then I had two different faculty say, well, no, we've given a team exam before. And I'm like, really? So yeah, so it is very collaborative. So Moosin, I'll go ahead and have you talk a little bit about why do you like, you're from far away, multiple places. Yeah. Why Purdue for you?
So I'm in the School of Engineering Education, as I said. So there are not many universities that actually have the School of Engineering Education. So it's a unique place that allows you to do engineering education research and teach engineering courses. So that's Purdue School of Engineering Education is the first historically all over the world. So that's the first reason why I came to Purdue. Another reason is I also have a joint appointment with the College of Education. So I also work with teachers, K-12 teachers, and we are working on integrating engineering to science and mathematics courses in the middle school and high school. So it allows me to work both middle school, high school, and college students. Therefore, my position is kind of unique that I have opportunity to work with teachers, parents, and first-year engineering students. Also, we have a PhD program that I work with the graduate students in the PhD program.
Awesome. Well, we're certainly glad you're here. And we really are a global community. And we've got, I know Amy talked about those numbers, but we've got faculty and students from all over the world, which is pretty cool in the middle of Indiana to have that kind of global experience, which you can certainly get there. So I'm going to go to Nate, and then I'm going to end with one of our students because I thought I'd end on the student note. But Nate, do you want to go ahead and tell us why Purdue for you?
Sure. I have been in this area locally since 1980, and I don't have an engineering background, but my background is in teaching. So at the junior high level, I first began teaching and coaching, and then started coaching at the high school level, and ended up moving out to the high school level here locally as a school counselor, and went to another high school, and then here to Purdue. So while my background is not in engineering, my background certainly is working with students at multiple levels with various types of things. So I'm very comfortable in doing that. Purdue's a great place to work. I'm planning on perhaps a few more years, and then I'll be at retirement age. So I'm kind of looking at that a little bit more than I ever used to. But I have enjoyed my experience working at Purdue.
Yeah, and I can speak for people say is campus large, and it is. I mean, there's a lot of people, and there's a lot to learn, and a lot of new things to try. But it also can feel super small, and so which is cool. And so Mr. Thomas was actually one of my teachers going through. So this is a pretty. He used to yell at me at track practice because I would be singing and not running. So. Who knew we would end up across the hallway from each other?
That's right.
And I can speak to the how caring and passionate, the advisors, the faculty, undergraduate education is certainly, I like to call Purdue's bread and butter. Not that we can't, if you want to do research, which we didn't get a chance to talk about, there are tons of opportunities to do undergraduate research. We're a top 10 school as far as the expenditures. So if you want to be involved in that, but we put a lot of our investment in undergrad because we want to see students succeed. So I'm going to end with Peggy because I wanted to end on a student note, all the way from Connecticut. So why Purdue?
So I actually started out by just looking at smaller schools in New England, technical schools. That's what everyone in my area does. They generally stay in New England or Philadelphia area, but my great-grandfather actually went to Purdue, so my mom and I just went out to visit just to see his alma mater, and I absolutely fell in love. I actually took the engineering tour and some other tours, and I loved the feeling on campus. Completely shifted my college search to big Midwestern schools, and nothing ever beat Purdue. So just the atmosphere on campus, and I love the amount of resources that we have. So I was talking about a learning community earlier. We were able to take trips to Chicago, Caterpillar, the Caterpillar plants, Subaru plants, to see how engines are made, and lots of other great resources, 3D printers. The whole Boeing Center is great to look into. It's absolutely incredible, and just all the resources on campus, along with the first-year engineering program. Lots of collaborative work was also what brought me to campus.
Awesome. Well, hopefully I look forward to seeing I'd love to be able to see everybody on campus again. So were you graduating this May, Jacob?
So because of the co-op, I'm actually pushed back a semester.
Okay.
So BS in December.
So yay, we'll get to see you, hopefully. That's awesome. Well, I want to thank everybody for joining in for the presentation. I know we had quite a large number. Again, we wish we could host you on campus, but we're really glad that we can have the opportunity to be with you. I apologize for my wiggling and my the way I got a note near the end that I was wiggling through my screen. I tend to move a lot. I'm not a person that tends to sit very still. So I hope I didn't drive anyone crazy with my bobbing or my weird camera angle. I don't know if you can see behind me, I have a Purdue Engineering flag kind of mounted back there. I was trying to get as festive as I could. But on behalf of the college and the rest, first of all, I want to thank the panel. Thank you all for joining in from different places. So good to see your guys' faces and hear from you. And we really appreciate your time. And on behalf of the college, we really appreciate everyone joining us today. Again, if you have more questions, you can go over to our drop-in live on YouTube, on our website, on our virtual website. We've got 3 to 5 students that are going to be in there as well that can continue to answer any questions that you have. You can also send us messages via our email. And my guess is they're putting those up in the chat as we speak, but please at our futures-engineers@purdue.edu. So please don't stop asking questions, because our goal is to provide you with as much information as we can so that you can make the best choice for you wherever you end up at school in the fall. And so we wish you the very, very best. And thank you all for joining us. So have a great afternoon, and boiler up. Thanks, everybody. We'll see ya.